I've recently started to wake up on my spiritual path. I'm struggling a little and I'm wondering if you have a morning routine you'd recommend. I think morning routines are so specific to each individual person. And I also think that for me, I know that when people would tell me what to do, it was sort of like, I put my heels in the ground and be like, I don't know, that doesn't work for me. I'm not saying you're that stubborn. I'm stubborn, but I would consider a couple of these options that I'm going to throw out for you. Gratitude. Every morning when I wake up, one of the first things I do after putting on hot water is I start writing the top 10 things that I'm grateful for and why. I am grateful and blessed for blah, 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 because blah, 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 blah. It really helps me to reflect on yesterday. It helps me to reflect on right now. Sometimes it's like, I am really grateful for a roof over my head, heat in my house, and a hot cup of tea. And you can feel into the gratitude and the gratefulness of that. And that is just as powerful as I'm grateful for $1 million that makes me feel secure. You know, it's like, we don't have to judge like the magnitude of these things. We have to go into the gratitude of how we feel. And when we can feel the gratitude, not just say I'm grateful, but really feel it. I have a weird story that's coming up. It's weird just because it's like, stuff comes forward and says, say this. And years ago now, I'm going to say like maybe 4 years ago, I was driving my parents' car and my parents were both in the car with me and we were on a freeway in Arizona and we were just going along. It was nighttime and this semi was out of control and it almost sideswiped us. I mean, it was so close. I can't even believe that the mirrors didn't break off because this was so close to us. And we weren't sure what happened in that moment. We all just like were petrified by this experience. Luckily, I was able to still hold the wheel and not overly swerve because there's cars going on all sides of us. And it was just that boom. I mean, like, wow, what just happened? And it was the one time in my life I felt such immense gratitude for being alive. I'd never experienced that intensity of a wave of being alive and of being grateful that we hadn't been in a car accident. That's what I'm talking about. I'm not saying you need to be in a trauma situation. I hope for you not to be. I'm saying let's cultivate that level of gratitude in our bodies so that we feel it. And, you know, hot tea is a really great thing, or a hot cup of coffee, because when you're sipping it, you can actually feel it go in if you pay attention to it. So it's a simple way of actually just feeling grateful. Like, oh, I can feel it within me, this gratefulness, this wonderfulness. So Lily, my beautiful little Bali dog, she's also a great way for me to feel that gratitude. So feel into gratitude, write your list, meditation. And I've talked about this so many times, but I had such a hard time meditating, and, you know, flower photography, observational flower photography is what really got me into it. Like, I don't know, 20 something years ago now. It was a way for me to quiet my mind. And so find a spot. I think it's, you know, you can go out into nature, which is wonderful, or find a spot in your home. But I think one of the things that's really helpful for a lot of people is to have the same spot. So create a little altar or have a little place, a little, you know, a spot in your home where, you know, when you go there, you are just going to quiet your mind and ask for connection to source. It just provides a level of stability. So if you do go outside, maybe you find the same rock. It doesn't have to be, but the routine of it helps quiet the mind right there, because the mind otherwise is like, wow, I don't know, which rock should I sit on? Wait, which lawn should I go to? Oh, is this a good spot? Is this too noisy? Right? Because then the mind's really involved in making the decision. And oh, geez, you know, I don't even have time. Right? That's the mind. So we want to get away from the mind and quiet the mind and ask source. And another technique that's just so simple is just ask for the light. And just as your eyes are closed in meditation, pretend as though there is a white, bright light like the sun that's out there. And just if you can visualize just that, you are on a great trajectory. Another thing that comes to mind, which is a very interesting thought. It's not something I do every day, but it's something that now that I'm saying it, perhaps is a message for me, is shaking therapy. So especially for all of us really active mind people, if you just do this shaking, like literally you're standing and you're just shaking, think of a dog, think of an animal. What happens when they get trauma? They shake it off. We see it over and over and over, whether it's a deer or it's a dog. If something happens, they just like shake it off. So you may or may not have read the book Angels, Herpes, and Psychedelics, but in the book, I talk about Ratu Bagus and his shaking ashram, and what an incredible experience and strange experience that was to go and shake for 5 days. I believe it was 6 hours a day. So it was pretty crazy, and we were all shook up by the time we left. So yeah, that would be another thing, because why I'm saying shaking is that it gets you out of the mind and makes you feel the body. Like, even if it's like, oh, my knees hurt, don't do it so your knees hurt. But I'm just saying, feel into your toes. Like, oh, I can feel the balls of my feet really, really making contact with the ground. And oh, I can really feel the energy in my hands and in my arms. And oh, my arm feels tired. It's like, because then you're focused inward to your body as opposed to just listening to the mind. So that's a really nice technique. I know it sounds crazy and it looks crazy, but I know that for me, that it's a wonderful feeling when I can just shake it out. So try it. Oh, there was one more that it just was coming to mind. Set the intention of how you want to feel in the day. How do you want to feel? Do you want to feel happy? Do you want to feel joyous? Do you want to feel accomplished? Do you want to feel purposeful? Whatever it is, take that word and pull it forward and feel it right now. And everything that you're doing throughout the day, oh, one step closer to that. Oh, I already feel that. I already feel purposeful. Oh, I'm already doing purposeful work, whether it's taking care of grandchildren or going to work and helping solve a problem, right? Oh, I've already been productive. So find that word or words that you want to place as your intention for that day and immediately start feeling them, because it's simple. It's the law of attraction that's going to bring more of those things to you, where you feel like you're going to be purposeful, joyful, productive. I mean, let's look at the opposite, and then everyone here will know exactly what I'm talking about. You wake up on, the wrong side of the bed. It feels like everything snowballs from there downhill. We have all experienced that. Why? Because it's the energy that we start attracting that. So all I'm suggesting is that you get those words and then you attract what you want, those feelings of joy, those feelings of peace, those feelings of blissfulness that we want in our day. Start feeling it immediately as you're sitting, writing the word. Okay, wonderful. Hopefully that's helpful. I'd love to hear if anyone else has any other morning routine that you feel is really helpful for everyone else. Please write it in the chat. If you're watching on replay, comment, like, subscribe. You'll get notifications anytime that I'm going live, but it's 11:11 every Sunday Pacific time.